Yes, sir.
Again, good morning, everyone. I have
Morning, sir.
four students as of the moment. Okay. I'll be sharing my screen. We'll be continuing the discussion since we didn't actually pursue the last discussion. Let's continue with Habagat. We are stuck with Habagat, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, Habagat, on the other hand, is the southwest wind characterized by frequent heavy rainfall and humid weather. When say humid again, it is alimuot. If it is humid, therefore the atmosphere has suspended what? Suspended water vapors. Okay? Since the atmosphere has already suspended water vapors, therefore there is a big possibility that heavy rainfall may occur or precipitation. Right? Now, if there is also humidity or humid environment, tendency is there is less evaporation, more condensation. If it is more condensation, again, there is a tendency of heavy rainfall. And the temperature, well, definitely it's more likely hotter since the condensation is in the clouds. So, alimuot. Okay, alimuot. During southwest monsoon or hanging habagat, the high pressure area at the Australian continent and the low pressure area is in the North China or Mongolia or Siberia. The gusty winds from west and the excessive rainfall often turn into dangerous typhoons. So these are the causes of these dangerous typhoons. But previously, we experienced typhoon, right? Ulysses. Ulysses is caused by hanging
Habagat.
habagat.
Eh,
Ulysses, it is actually happening during December. Oh no, November. So therefore, the air there is coming from where?
Southwest. Okay lang. Southwest monsoon. Ito.
Southeast monsoon.
Oh,
Southeast monsoon.
oh yeah, southeast.
Remember the Christmas nights? Doon na kanina pas there is hanging amihan. Okay? If padungay na summer, kaya mo cause of uwan, the cause there is hanging habagat. Okay? Let's continue. While the rain may ease farmers to irrigate the rice fields, the heavy rainfall may trigger floods, landslides, and potentially endanger residents living near riverbanks. The typhoons that Habagat brings unfortunately cause millions, sometimes billions worth of reconstruction damage and kill hundreds of Filipinos. Yes, usually. No? Again, this may help the farmers to irrigate rice fields, but heavy rainfall may trigger floods, landslide, and potentially endanger residents living the riverbanks. Overflowing, no? There, there is a big possibility that there might be floods or landslides or overflow riverbanks. That's the problem. Please read, Robbie.
The southwest monsoon affects the country from late June to October. Occurrence may also vary each year. Low season in the Philippines occurs during the Habagat season because of frequent rainfall and high humidity. Series of flash floods and landslides are regular incidents during this season.
Correct. Again, if it is in June to October, the southwest monsoon may affect. Okay? Remember that because of high humidity, again, humidity, what is humidity again? The atmosphere is
The heat.
Yes, Rob.
The thickness of the atmosphere.
No, the atmosphere itself actually what has already a lot of suspended water vapors. That's the cause of it.
Oh,
Okay. So tendency is there is low evaporation and high condensation. A series of floods and landslides are regular incidents during the season. There are a lot. Okay? It depends upon the activity of man. Remember that man itself is a steward of God's creation. But the problem there, man usually destroys nature. That's the problem. So if there is a lot of deforestation, if there is a lot of cutting of trees, tendency is there are a lot of landslides and there are a lot of floods. Remember that these occurrences are naturally happening, but because of man-made activity, this may turn into what? A disaster. That is why when you go to your grade 11 and grade 12, you'll be having the subject disaster readiness and risk reduction. Meaning to say that the curriculum itself is preparing you for the possible calamities. Let's move forward to the lesson. Climate change. This is a big issue pertaining to the natural resources, pertaining to uh, some medical, some practitioners in the field of science. The Philippines are now the world's most typhoon-impacted places. Please read, Janine. Janine, is Janine still there? Is Janine there? Robbie?
um,
I think she's here, but she can't hear, I think.
Janine, Janine,
Yeah,
are you listening?
Please
the
read.
Wi-Fi is not that good, that's why.
Okay, Janine, please read.
Climate change. The Philippines are one of the world's most typhoon-impacted places. There is a strong scientific, how do you say it? Con-
Consensus.
consensus that, huh? How do
An-
you say this, chair?
anthropogenic.
I
Anthropogenic.
Anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions are causing climate change, and that this is contributing to stronger typhoons due to higher sea surface temperatures and a higher subsurface sea temperatures, which remove the natural buffer on typhoon strength. Okay, associate
Occasion.
associate. How do you say this term? Oh my gosh.
Occasion. Occasional. Occasion.
Occasioned when cold water wells from below the ocean surface. Excuse me for my English.
It's okay. No worries. Right? Again, climate change is a big factor. It changes now the typhoon strength occasionally. Why occasionally? Because remember that if the temperature of the sea or the ocean rises, there is a big factor for evaporation. If there is a big evaporation or a higher evaporation rate, then there is also a higher rate of condensation, and this causes now precipitation or raining. Okay? We are now talking about water cycle from evaporation, condensation, going to precipitation. Okay? What are the causes of this? Let me check on my slides. Okay? These stronger typhoons carry more moisture, track differently, move faster, and will be aggregated by sea level rise. One of the most certain consequences of climate change. The Philippines, with its large, rapidly growing population, are vulnerable to stronger typhoons. Why? When you say climate change, there is global warming there. When there is global warming, tendency is there is what? How about the ice in the north and south poles? They actually melt and causes now what? If the
The
ice
rise
north
of
and south pole
sea level,
will melt, what will happen to the sea level?
it will rise.
It will rise, correct. If there is a sudden rise of water, what will happen to the creatures in the ocean or in the sea? What
Wait,
will
what was
happen?
it again, sir?
If there is a sudden rise of water in the ocean and in the sea, what will happen to the organisms living there?
They will have more to swim.
They will actually die. Are you sure they will die? If there is a sudden change of salinity, are you familiar with salinity?
No, sir.
No.
Salinity, ang giparaton sa dagat, saline, saltiness, okay? Remember that seawater is salty. That is because of the minerals there, okay? And this salty water maintains now the osmosis of the organisms, osmosis or the water in the body of an organism. Changes of salinity of the water will tendency is it will actually kill an organism. Kung mausab ang salinity sa tubig o giparaton sa dagat, mamatay ang organism because that is not the natural habitat of that organism. Okay? You're placing now some organisms in great danger. And again, there is a theory, the theory of natural selection by Charles Darwin, that elimination of the weak and the continuation of the strong. So eventually they will adapt. Some of them will die and some of them will adapt. But a bigger population might die because of the sudden rise of water and the changes of salinity. Okay? If there are some changes of salinity and some of the organisms will die, what will happen to the fishermen? They cannot actually get some fish. And eventually we are now affected. Okay? And because of the sudden rise of water, tendency is what? Some of the islands might get lost, or some of the islands might be covered by this. Or we cannot see actually, or in the near future, we cannot see some sandbars because it will be covered by water. Okay? This is the problem. Again, if there are some greenhouse gases, it will create some greenhouse effect. And this greenhouse effect will actually damage some of the plants. Okay? It will kill some of the plants. Why? Because the heat from the sun now is not actually protected. It was not actually being reflected back. It was covered, or it was actually contained in Earth's surface, leaving now Earth in great danger because of global warming. Okay? That's the reason. Sure. How would that be? How would that affect typhoons? Okay, I will throw the question. How would that affect typhoon if there are some global warming happening in the Earth? Any answer? Anybody? Yes, Rabbi?
Um, Due to the rise of temperatures, it increases condensation, which makes the clouds thicker and makes the typhoons stronger.
Correct. Due to the high temperature, there is a faster evaporation and a faster condensation, making it a good area for the development of typhoon. And remember the Coriolis and Borealis effect? Okay? And the wind blows, creating now Coriolis and Borealis effect. This is now how your typhoons are actually created. Okay. In my screen, you can see now a typhoon being generated. This was actually taken by a satellite. Okay? Sure, it looks like a cloud. Actually, a typhoon is a cloud with strong winds. By the way, question so far? Any question?
None. Oh, wait. Sir, what's the Coriolis effect again?
Coriolis effect due to Earth's rotation and revolution, it creates now Coriolis effect. Have you ever watched um a liquid be, you pour a liquid on your pitcher and you observe the direction the water, it usually go counterclockwise. That is because of the Coriolis effect. Remember, the Earth is still moving until now. Okay, that's why we have night and day. Any other question?
No,
No more
Chair.
for me, sir.
EM? Question EM?
No, Chair.
Okay, let's continue. So we are now heading forward towards typhoon development. How a typhoon develop? What are the requirements for a typhoon to be developed? Or cyclogenesis. The term there is cyclogenesis, the development of cyclone or typhoon. Okay? There are six main requirements for a tropical cyclone or cyclogenesis. Sufficient warm sea surface temperatures, which is given by your global warming. Okay? Atmospheric instability. The atmosphere now is unstable. So, there's sudden rise of temperature and the cold air blows. So there's the atmosphere there is now unstable. High humidity in the lower tidal levels of the troposphere. High humidity. I already discussed about humidity. Okay? There are a lot of suspended water vapor in the atmosphere. Okay? Enough Coriolis force to develop a low pressure center. Coriolis force because of the air. Okay? Pre-existing level or focus disturbance. Okay? And low vertical wind shear. So those are the requirements for cyclogenesis or creation of typhoon. So take a look at the illustration. As you can see, there are some convergence there. We will be talking about convergence later. Okay? High pressure and low pressure. When there is a low pressure at the center, tendency is the high pressures in the sides or in the tail. Okay? That is why they call the typhoon, if a typhoon enters the Philippine area of responsibility for PAR, they will call the typhoon a low pressure area because tendency if there is a low pressure area entering PAR or Philippine area of responsibility, the tail there has a high pressure or strong winds. Okay? Again, if there is some low pressure entering the Philippine area of responsibility, tendency is the tail there is with high pressure. Sure. While I'm looking at the illustration, I saw the low pressure and high pressure area moving. Correct. Because remember that your air temperature, high air temperature rises up while your low temperature goes down. Pushes now the high temperature up. And that's the process. Let's move now to the typhoon. Now, what can we see in the typhoon? Okay. First is the eye of the typhoon. Okay. Is the region mostly calm weather at the center with strong tropical cyclones. The eye of the storm is roughly circular area, typically 30 to 65 kilometers in diameter. It's big actually. It is surrounded by an eye wall, a ring of towering thunderstorms, where the most severe weather and highest winds occurs. The cyclone's lowest barometric pressure occurs in the eye. It can be as much as 15% lower than the pressure outside the storm. Correct. The eye is the calmest. Kini ang pinakakalma in all the area of the typhoon because in the area it is low pressure. Okay, again, in the eye of the typhoon, you cannot actually experience heavy rainfall because it's so calm, but the high pressure there is in the sides or outside the eye. Okay, question so far?
None, sir.
Right. So this is the eye. Now, if you're going to use or going to see the captured images of the satellite, you can see that the eye is in the center, surrounded by circling clouds or moving clouds. Cold front. Okay? The cold front is the leading edge of the cooler mass of air at the ground level that replaces warmer mass of air and lies within the pronounced surface through a flow pressure. Meaning to say, this is the tail. Are you familiar with the word tail of cold front? Tail
Yes, sir.
front. Okay. This is now the outside area of the eye or the tail area. It has a high pressure. And it replaces now the what? The warm the warm air. Okay? It pushes down the warm air back. Again, we have the eye of the typhoon, which is in the center, and the tail of cold front, which is in the outside the eye. Okay. If this is the illustration, you can see that the eye is in the center, okay, and the tail of cold front is this one outside, okay, circling the eye. Okay, this is how cold front works and the cold front dynamics. The warm air is being lifted up and replacing now cold front or cold air. This is the convergence of cold front and warm air, now causing low pressure area. This is how your low pressure area is being created. Question with the illustration? Anybody?
No, sir.
None, sir.
Okay. Public storm warning system. Your public storm warning system plays an important role simply because it gives you a warning that there is a heavy rainfall or a typhoon is coming. Remember that your typhoon is not abrupt. No, it will not go there directly. It will not be happening directly. Okay? It takes time for a typhoon to be called a super typhoon. Okay? The development of the typhoon is not abrupt. It is gradual. When any public storm warning signal number is put in effect for the first time, the corresponding meteorological conditions are not yet prevailing over the locality. This is because the purpose of signal is to warn the impending occurrence of the given meteorological conditions. It must be noted also that the approximate lead time to expect the range of wind speeds given for each signal number is valid only for the signal number it is put in effect for the first time. Meaning to say that the public storm warning signal number given is only valid for the first time. The succeeding time now will depend on the speed of the typhoon. Okay? Again, the public storm warning system or signal number given by Pag-asa. What is meant by Pag-asa again? Pag-asa.
Wait,
Philippine
Philippine Astronology, wait,
Atmospheric
Atmosphere, Philippine
Geophysical
Atmospheric, Geophysical, as
Astronomical
Astronomical,
Services Administration.
uh,
Okay? So this is now an institution, a public institution that monitors weather conditions and gives us a warning. But the problem, take note, but the problem here in the Philippines is that we are taking it for granted. That's what is actually happening during Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda. No? People there in Tacloban already given warning that there are some storm surges. But they don't understand what is a storm surge. So, they didn't actually, or they taken it for granted. So, where's the problem there? It is in the people because they don't understand terminologies. That is the reason why we included it or we included this in your topic in order for you to be educated that this is a serious matter. Science is a serious matter. Okay? This is not just a lesson or for grading. Para lang may makapasar ni sir. No. It's a big no-no. Because this is really a lesson for you to learn and to be used in your daily life. Okay? Again, storm surges. We'll be discussing about storm surges also. Diba, storm surges are being discussed also in the video. Okay? Storm surges are created due to what? Movement of
cold, wait, movement of the sea level, wait, no, movement of water.
movement of water in the sea level. Cause of,
Wait, isn't the storm surge the rise of the sea level in the shores?
yes.
Yes.
Again, this public storm warning system will not be that effective if we don't understand the terminologies being used there. That's the problem. Okay? So again, this is to give you a great understanding about the terminologies being used in the field, right? And hopefully you can pass it through to your relatives and your friends. Okay, this is the revised public storm warning system. Number one, public storm warning signal number one. Ano ni? Diba? May tag signal number one naman may dire. Signal number one. So the lead time is 36 hours. With wind speed 30 to 60 kilometers per hour. No damage to very light damage. Sometimes it can damage actually. Because remember that in the Philippine setting, the houses, not all the houses are made of concrete materials. Some of the houses are made of light materials. That is the reason why. Okay? The Pag-asa already adjusted it. Signal number two, the lead time is 24 hours. So within 24 hours, which has a speed of 61 kilometers per hour to 120 kilometers per hour. Light to moderate damage. There are some damages now, but it is light to moderate. Signal number three, which is 18 hours, the lead time, with wind speed of 121 kilometers per hour to 170 kilometers per hour. Sir, the last Yolanda, we experienced signal number 4 in Tacloban, but we didn't actually experience yet the damage. It's, it is because the lead time for signal number 4 is 12 hours. Okay? After 12 hours, you can experience with a speed of 171 to 220 kilometers per hour, heavy to very heavy damage. No? As you can observe in the video, you can see that the palm trees are being wrapped out because of the strong winds. Signal number 5, the lead time is 12 hours. So most probably, if the lead time is 12 hours, you need to evacuate less than 12 hours because the lead time is 12 hours. More than 220 kilometers per hour speed, the wind speed, with a very heavy to widespread damage. And remember, ignorance of this matter can lead to certain death. Take note. Again, ignorance to this matter can lead to certain death if you will taken it for granted. Okay? And some of the government agencies or government organizations are offering help already. No? They already created evacuation centers for you to transfer or evacuate. And some of the residents were strongly, depend their land. We will stay here. Or that's the problem. Okay? Again, we cannot blame the government for this. No? This is not a government issue. This is an issue in the residents, issue of the people of the Republic of the Philippines. That's the problem. Okay, classification. Pag-asa already given as intensity scale. Okay? When can we consider a typhoon a typhoon? Or a typhoon is super typhoon? Okay? If it is a tropical depression, meaning to say, a start of the typhoon is usually 61 kilometers per hour or 33 knots. Knots is the movement or the circular movement. If it is 62 to 88 kilometers per hour or 34 to 47 knots, this is now considered as tropical storm. If it is 89 to 117 kilometers per hour or 48 to 63 knots, it is considered as severe tropical storm, STS. But if it is 118 kilometers per hour to 220 kilometers per hour with 64 or 64 to 119 knots, it is considered as a typhoon. How about super typhoon like Yolanda? If it is more than 220 kilometers per hour with 119 knots, it is considered as a super typhoon. Okay, this is not the consideration. Again, please take note. You can download the module if you want, or you can download the PowerPoint presentation so that you can take note of the details because this will come up in your exam. Let's move now to the Philippine Area of Responsibility. What's with the PAR? Why do we need to consider PAR? Okay, Philippine Area of Responsibility. Now, the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR is an area of the Northwestern Pacific where PAG-ASA or the Philippine National Meteorological Agency monitors weather occurrences. Okay? Significant weather disturbances, specifically tropical cyclones that enter or develop in the PAR are given Philippine-specific names. That is the reason. Like for example, Haiyan. No? Haiyan is internationally named. Okay? But when Haiyan enters PAR, it changes its name to, or the Pag-asa changes its name to Yolanda. Okay? Let's move forward. There are bounded by 6 points. Okay, the area is bounded by 6 points. We have 25 degrees north, 120 degrees east. These are the area of the PAR. 25 degrees north, 135 degrees east, 5 degrees north, 135 degrees east, 5 degrees north to 115 east, 15 degrees north to 115 east, 21 degrees north to 120 east. Sure, what are you talking about? What is that area? It's too many. To summarize, this is the area or the PAR or the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Okay, this is the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Sure, Taiwan is included. The area of Taiwan is considered as PAR, including Sulu and some area of Micronesia. Okay, that is the area of Philippine Area of Responsibility. Going back, please read, Rabi.
This area encompasses almost all of the land territory of the Philippines, except for the southernmost portions of the province of Tawi-Tawi, and some of the country's claimed islands in the Spratlys. The area also includes the main island of Palau, most of Taiwan, as well as a portion of the Malaysian state of Sabah and the Japanese prefecture of Okinawa.
We are near Japan, that is why. And it is included in the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Sure, if it is considered as inside the Philippine Area of Responsibility, would that be a property of the Philippines? The answer is no. Again, the answer is no. It depends upon also. Like if you're talking about spot list, well, based on based on their meetings, it is partly Philippines. But if you're going to look at it, it was actually driven by Chinese, so we don't really know. Okay, that's a problem. Tropical cyclones are only assigned local names by pag-asa. Okay, when they enter or develop within the PAR, these names are provided in parallel with internationally recognized names designated by Japan Meteorological Agency and its role as the regional specialized meteorological center for the Northwest West Pacific Ocean Basin. Again, sure, who actually give names to the typhoon globally? Okay, if it is global or internationally recognized names, it was given by Japan Meteorological Agency. Okay, but if it enters the Philippine area of responsibility, it will be given a local names, alphabetical. The rationale for providing local names is that it is felt that Filipinos will respond more to familiar names and that it helps to underscore that these named weather disturbances pose a direct threat to the country. See? That is because of the people. They will not respond if it is internationally named. But if it is locally named, people in the Philippines will respond. So where's the problem there? The problem there is in the people. Furthermore, Pag-asa provide names earlier when a low pressure area becomes a tropical depression. In contrast to international names that are only issued when the tropical cyclone reaches the tropical storm strength of 65 kilometers per hour and higher. Meaning to say that we have a lot of time to prepare because these um, these typhoons are given already names as early as tropical depression. Okay? When a low pressure area becomes a tropical depression. So nag-start pa lang ang bagyo, gitagaan na tao tropical names or gitagaan na name ang bagyo or a typhoon. So therefore, we have a lot of time to prepare. But the problem there is we're taking it for granted. Okay? due to the fact that tropical depressions can still cause flooding and other damages. Remember that again, we are creating those damages. Flash floods. We will not have flash floods if we have a lot of trees. Number one. Because remember this, that these flash floods happens because there are no more trees that holds the soil or sip those water. Okay? Again, if there is no trees or plants that hold those water, tendency is there will also what?
Be
Landslide.
floods. Landslide.
Okay, landslides. What naman ipunit sa soil? So what will happen to the soil? It will be softened and then eroded, causing now landslides. So we are now creating those damages actually. When a named weather disturbance within the PAR has made or is expected to make landfall in the Philippines, Pag-asa is mandated to issue severe weather bulletins. See? Every 3 to 6 hours. If the weather disturbance is not affecting land, the weather agency has to issue again severe weather bulletin every 12 hours. See? The government is doing something out of it. But the people there, or people living in the Philippines, or we are not doing something out of it. We're taking it for
Excuse
granted.
me, sir.
Yes,
Does this include the text that the NDRRMC sends?
yes, yes. That is for prevention. They actually text us if there are some uh, coming heavy rainfall or a earthquake, possible earthquake, or a possible um, weather disturbances. Okay. Again, this is your power, and we are done with the lesson itself. What we're going to do now is, okay, I'll be stop my screen sharing. Okay, what we'll be going to do now is our activities. Let me check your activities. Okay. By the way, questions so far with the lesson.
None, sir.
How about EM, Janine?
No, sir.
I have only three students who answered the activity. How about the others? You're only three? Robbie, Kurt, and Janine. The rest don't have activity? Huh? How about others? How about others? Okay, since we still have time, those who didn't done doing their activity, I will give you time to do your activity just for an hour. Okay. I'll be opening again your activity one. This is another chance again. And I want you to continue doing your activity. Those who are not done yet or didn't pass the activity. Okay? Again,
Sure.
if you have questions with the lesson, uh, please leave a message in our GC in order for me to clarify some difficulties or terminologies. Okay? Am I making that clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Again, I'll be opening your activity for 1 hour in order for you to answer or to continue answering your activity. After which, it will be closed after an hour. Right? I think that will be all for today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for
Chair,
joining
what time will
us.
you open the activity, Chair?
Activity for storm or for typhoons.
Yeah, Chair, what time?
I will open it now after this meet.
Ah, okay, Chair.
Right? I think that will be all for today. Thank you for participating. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.